You didn't announce this battle. You didn't gather attention around it. You didn't explain how heavy it became. You fought it quietly. He kept showing up. You kept functioning. He kept carrying what no one else saw. And because you didn't collapse publicly, people assumed you were fine. But this kind of battle doesn't need witnesses to leave scars. It happens inside. In your thoughts. In your endurance. In the decisions you made just to survive the day. And the hardest part was this. You didn't feel like you had permission to stop. You weren't weak. You were responsible. You weren't careless. You were committed. You weren't dramatic. You were enduring. And God never missed a single moment of it. This is where Scripture speaks. Not to people who avoided the fight, but to people who stayed in it longer than anyone realized. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. That verse does not describe visible collapse. It describes internal pressure. Being crushed in spirit does not always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like discipline. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like strength that costs too much. God was close while you were fighting quietly. Some of your battles were emotional. Unresolved disappointment. Loss you didn't have time to grieve. Pain you carried because life didn't slow down. You didn't ignore it. You postponed it. And postponed pain does not disappear. It turns into a private war. Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? Psalm 42:5. That question appears in Scripture because God understands internal conflict. Not every battle is loud. Not every war involves confrontation. Some battles are fought in your thoughts, where fear, responsibility, and faith collide, and God never overlooked that battlefield. Some of your battles came from responsibility. You carried outcomes that were never fully in your control. You felt accountable for things you couldn't fix, and because you handled it well, no one questioned the cost. But God did. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. Psalm 139:1. God knows what it took to remain composed. He knows the effort behind your consistency. He knows how much strength it required just to keep going. Some battles were fought in silence because explaining felt harder than enduring. You didn't speak because you didn't want to burden anyone. You didn't complain because others depended on you. You didn't stop because stopping felt dangerous. So you stayed in the fight. Quietly. And God never missed that. My guilt has overwhelmed me like a burden too heavy to bear. Psalm 139:6. Scripture does not avoid the language of weight. God does not minimize internal battles. He names them. He acknowledges them. He allows them to be spoken. You didn't wake up one day overwhelmed. This battle built slowly. One pressure added here. One expectation layered there. One season extended longer than you were prepared for, until fighting became your normal, and rest stopped restoring you. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Psalm 34:19. Notice the word many. Faith does not prevent battles. It sustains you through them. Some of your battles were about staying faithful when joy felt distant. You prayed without emotion. You obeyed without clarity. You trusted without reassurance. That is not weakness. That is endurance. And endurance leaves marks. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. That includes the tears you didn't cry, the prayers you didn't finish, the nights you lay awake, fighting thoughts no one else heard. God counted those moments. Battles fought quietly change you. They don't always break you, but they drain you. Joy feels muted. Hope feels cautious. Faith feels heavier than before. You may have wondered why obedience feels harder now than it once did. It wasn't because you drifted from God. It was because you stayed in the fight longer than most people ever see. Jesus never ignored hidden battles. Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." John 16:33. Jesus didn't deny the trouble. He acknowledged it. And he didn't shame those who were weary from fighting. He offered perspective. Another time, Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. He didn't say, "Come when the battle is over." He said, "Come because you are tired." God knows the difference between giving up and being worn down. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 27. Binding wounds takes care. Healing takes time. God does not rush restoration for people who are worn down slowly. Some of your battles came from waiting without answers, waiting while still being faithful, waiting while life continued to demand strength. Waiting can be one of the hardest battles to fight quietly. And God saw that too. Praise be to the Lord, who daily bears our burdens. Psalm 17:19. Daily. That means today's battle was never meant to be fought alone. You don't have to prove how strong you are anymore. You don't have to minimize what you endured. You don't have to justify why you're tired now. God never missed the battle you fought quietly. He saw the nights you stayed strong, the mornings you pushed through, the faith you held on to when nothing changed. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not failing. You endured. And God honors endurance, but He is also inviting you to step out of survival mode. Not all at once, not dramatically, but intentionally. This season is not about fighting harder. It is about learning where your strength truly comes from. God never missed the battle you fought quietly, and He is still with you now. If this message spoke to your heart, like, share, and subscribe, so it can reach someone who has been fighting silently for too long. And if you feel led, comment, "God saw my battle." May His peace find you today.